Uh, so I'm recording right now. Just I will record maybe the first maybe 20 minutes so that we can maybe put it on YouTube so people can follow our uh, process. So again, my name is Dmitry Gornichi. I'm with the research scientist with Canada Border Services Agency, and we will be developing today our final code for printing the results from COVID data. So again, the way we work is the following, that in here, in directory called R101 on GitHub, you can find the code which is called R script. So, and we have copied this code into our RStudio Cloud, right? So that's where we have our functions and the variables where we will read the data. Now, in the same folder, we would have our Markdown file. Now, unfortunately, something happened with my GitHub account. I was updating my password, and it locked me out. So I cannot get back to my GitHub. So I have shared with you the code of this new R Markdown file, and we will be running this R Markdown file today with you together. And if you don't have this code, I will just share it with you by email. So this code is in here, and you see it. It's called 01-board. And there is a difference from 01 report, which we were running last time. Because last time, you remember, the output was a HTML document, and we were compiling it, we were having some errors. Our code was a little bit too long, but we decided to make it smaller this time. We have created now what is called Flex dashboard. In order to install it, you will need to go to File, and we've done it 2 sessions ago. You have to open R Markdown and say from template, and you say Flex dashboard. So if you do that, it will ask you to install this package or library, and it will give you a template. So I just use this template, and then I've added code there. Now, what this template tells you, this line means it's a header. It's a header. It's the same as just 2 sharp signs or hashtags. This is the same as this one. So if you try to run this code, it will give you like a basic layout with 2 columns, and we can do it. So I will need to give it a name. File, new name, we will just save it, save as. I'll just give it a name, like temporal name, so you can do it yourself later. So, and now you click on Knit button. Okay, that's in here. You click, and it compiles. Look, there is a red button here. It compiles, and it starts the application. Actually, it has opened in another window, and I will show it to you. That's what it is. Look, it's quite pretty. So it is a 2-column layout, and 1 column is for display. So let's examine what this layout is telling you. Look, so this is 1 column, and then this column has only essentially 1 window. And then we have a 2nd column, and it has 2 windows. Okay. Now, for people who don't have a Flex dashboard, you need, oh, okay, so I assume you are working in the same RStudio Cloud, and it shows you the version. By the way, the version is in here. So if you don't have it, you need to go to Tools, okay, and say Install Packages. I hope you're following me. And here you will start typing Flex dashboard, and it will show you. if it has, if it will show you Flex dashboard in here. You see, it has shown you, and you can click install. You do it only once. So I will not install it because I have installed, but you will just click install and it should install it. And after that, you would be able to compile this file and to have this nice layout as we have just shown. Now we will be populating this layout with our data. And this is what I'm showing you here. So I need to open my file here. Okay, so that's the file we have created with you last time with small modifications. And what we will do now, we will execute it line by line. In order to do that, you can do the same way we've done it last time. You put a cursor there, and you click Control Enter. Okay. So we'll just go line by line. Now, I assume you already know what this line is doing. This line is reading the entire content of the other file which we have created with you last time. And I have not modified this file. So we will not be going line by line into our R script. Maybe if there is time left, we will do it. But for time being, I assume that you know what this file is doing. This file will create a function called read geographical data and read COVID data. So let's do it one line at a time. You put it here, Control Enter. Now the difference you may see in our Markdown that sometimes your results will be shown in this window. You will see it later, or they could be shown in here at the bottom console. So let's go to the next line. This line, for time being, just ignore it. It's instruction on how to compile your file. Now, source. Okay, I see you installing. Okay, so you're installing Flex right now. So let's try to switch to this Z-team temporary file, and there it is now. So if you don't have the code, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Go to File, New File, New R Markdown. Click there, and in here you say From Template. And you should see here Flex Dashboard. If you have installed Flex Dashboard library, it should be there. So please let me know. I'm just watching the chat. Let me know if you have any problems at this stage. Oh, great. It works. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm happy to see that you can see it. So you click there, just the way I've done it. And you would have this template. It's empty basic template. Now, if some people don't see it, I see some of you have actually now managed to install Flex Dashboard, some did not. So again, for those who have not installed it, let's just make sure you do have it by installing. And then if you have installed it, you should be able to do what I have just done, go to File and create from template. Just for time being, I will maybe move with my execution of my dashboard, and you could try in parallel to install your library. So what we're doing here, we're reading our R script, and this is the best way for you to program in general. You develop all your codes in a separate file called R script, and you would see in here in global environment, now we have definitions of all our functions which we have defined with you, and some variables. So now we have a function called read geographical data, and we can execute it. Control Enter. Okay, now you see that it's showing you results in here. So that's a feature of R Markdown, that it will show you the results in here instead of here. Otherwise, it's exactly the same as when you execute in R script. So now we execute the next line. It reads data from COVID data for United States. And then we compute, remember, we compute the maximum date. So the date when it was last time updated. Control Enter. And it tells me, okay, the last time it was updated on the 26th. Okay, so, okay, empty charts, that's fine. If you have empty charts, it means that you just have a template. Now, we need to go line by line in this our file. That's the file which I have sent to you by email. So again, I need to apologize that I was not able to upload this file into GitHub. Normally, I would put it into GitHub, and you would be able to copy it. So, but today, again, unfortunately, I don't know how it happened. I cannot get back to my GitHub, and you don't have it. So let me see if I can upload. So I cannot upload, unfortunately, today. I cannot upload my file to GitHub. I wonder if I can upload it right here somewhere in Zoom. Do you know if there is a way to put it in Zoom as an attachment, let's say? Let me see if I can put it as attachment. I don't see such an option here. So that's a file which I sent you 2 days ago, and that's the file which I'm executing right now. Let me maybe try to execute it, and then I will try to find a way to send this file to you, so you will just understand what is happening there. So I click again on board. This is board R Markdown, and it's in here where we would do the same code we've done last time. Remember, we were just sort of merging two data sets. Then we removed a column, and then a line which I have added here, we compute also percentage of population. So this is absolute number of cases. And then we can also compute the percentage of those cases per population and the total. And I've showed you this line, how you can apply, this is cumulative sum, if you want to compute a total for each day. And then another line, which is percentage of total. So for these three lines are added, and we can have those visualization for those variables later. Now, another portion which I have added. Okay, what is happening here? It's reloading the page. Yeah, that happens when you are on the network. Somehow it just reloaded my entire workspace. Okay. So let's see where we are right now. Okay, so I've mentioned about the importance of creating the table of content in here. So you know exactly what is happening in your file, because you cannot see it in one screen, right? So in here, you see I have created map, and you can click there and you see a portion of the code. Now this code is brand new, and it's quite heavy in the beginning, and you'll have just to cut and paste it from the file which I send you. And it's a code which will plot the data, such as confirmed cases, on a map based by latitude and longitude. Then another thing which we've done last time was interactive table. So I click on the table, and it's very simple line. We've done it last time. And the next one, I've created a column for trends. And this is where we will plot our results. Let me try now just to compile it, so you see how it works. I run it on a weekend, by the way. So most of this work which I'm doing here, it's just really, it's on my own time, on the weekends and evenings. But again, it's a pleasure to be sort of trying to help you if you have any questions. And I hope all of us will get a benefit of this. Okay, so I run this file, and you can see how it runs. It actually runs very well. So I have 3 pages. One page is called map, and I need to bring this page back to you. Remember, this is table of contents. It shows you the pages which I have created. Map. Now I have created page called table, and the page called trend, and also page called info. And you can click on any of these and see what it is. So in info, I have this information about this application, and so on. Now I can open my application, and you see it works. So actually it shows you, and even it colors by color all the cities in New York State. And you can click on any of these, and it will show a little bit more about, so percentage, it shows the percentage. So for example, 0.2% people were infected yesterday, and which is total of 82. Now you can go to table, and in table you see interactive table, and you can sort by city, for example, here, or by, let's say, confirmed. Let's say find out in which city we have the largest number of confirmed, and you can say, okay, it's New York for sure, and then it's another city. Now you see that latitude and longitude is not there, and now you probably know why. Remember, last time we talked about the fact that geographical data does not call New York City New York, it calls it New York City. So we had to correct this, and I have not corrected in my code. Now, trends, look what trends is doing here. It shows you the trends number of infected per day in 6 top cities in New York, which are sorted, by the way, by the number of infected. You see? And this is what we have in info. We have 2 windows, and yeah, so that's the layout. Now let's go back to our code, our Markdown code, so that you can better understand the layout here. So 1 shop means page, 2 shops means column, 3 shops means a window within a column. So it's like a row. Understand? Okay, so I have 4 pages: maps, table, trends, info, and in all my other pages I have just 1 window, right? So because it's a big map. Okay, so that's how it works. And for you to make sure it works, you do what we've been doing. You execute line at a time. Now, the best way for you is not to start typing right there. The best way for you is go back to your script first. And it's in script where you make sure that you understand the data very well, that you analyze it. Remember, we analyzed the data last time, and we looked at New York City, and we found out that New York City needs to be renamed to New York, for example, in here. Remember? So, and this is what we'll do now. We'll just copy this line, and we'll put it here into our dashboard. In here, we can put it right in here. You see? So I'm correcting this data value. And in fact, you'll have something like that happening all the time. So you do need to understand your data before you start really programming your big applications here. So, and the way we understood our data, remember, we created a function called read geographical data, read COVID data, and we would just go line at a time look at first lines, two lines, last line, then we renamed variables, and you can do all this yourself with any data. So in fact, if you have ideas on which other types of data you'd like to process, sure, we can actually, I would like maybe to close this application, this block, and move on to the next sort of block. There are ideas on use Plotly. There is another very good interactive library called Plotly, and you can combine Plotly with R Markdown. And in fact, for Friday, I have invited a colleague of mine to give a presentation on that. So I'm inviting everyone to come back on Friday. We'll talk about something very different. It's making our dashboard more interactive. Like in here, you can add a menu, and it still will be like HTML page, which you can send even to your client. Because in fact, R Markdown, it's very, very important. It's in fact, it's HTML file. You can create HTML file. So I will have actually to maybe to spend a few minutes here talking about the difference between report, which we've done with you last time, remember, and the R Markdown Flex dashboard. So report generates HTML document, and it's just HTML document. In fact, we in CBSA, this is what we started producing for our clients. So we have, let's say, a project, and we have to analyze data, and we have to provide recommendations, results to our clients, and we would do all our analysis and create HTML file, and then we can just send it by email or put it on Apollo anywhere on your file system. HTML file. This is beautiful. Our clients don't need to have any software. They just can click. And that's how it does. Now in Flex dashboard, it's not HTML anymore. It's something more difficult, and for that you do need a hosting space, like where you can host it. And we can talk about it. Like you can host it on GitHub. So let's compile this line. By the way, I'll show you a trick, a very important trick. I put my cursor here and I press Ctrl-I. So it's indent. It stands for indent, and it automatically indents. It's very useful because if there is a problem in your code, for example, you missed a bracket or you mistyped something, it will not indent properly. It will be indication that something is not right. So, it's very important it's properly aligned. Now let's run again. I click Neat, and let's see how it works. So we just fixed this New York City issue, remember? Let's see if now our interactive table shows New York data. By the way, while it's compiling, I have to say that I'm running this new version of Zoom. Supposedly it's more secure, but maybe because it's more secure, actually it does not show me the windows. Like it doesn't show me my own video, it doesn't show me your videos. Like for example, I don't see any windows from any of you. Like in the past, it would show me even names or something. Now it doesn't show any names. I don't hear any sounds. That's okay. But again, I even don't know how much time left. Normally it would show me like 10 minutes left. Now I just see black window. Okay, where we are. So did it compile? Let's check our code. Okay. All right. So we are running the script right now. Let's run in R Markdown. Let's sort it now by confirmed, and let's see what it shows. So now it shows, you see, New York actually has now latitude and longitude. So we fixed the data. Now it's perfect. You can plot it. You can plot it on a map. You see, you can plot it on a map, and this is what we're doing in here. But the map, by the way, is very nice. You can zoom it in like that. You can click anywhere on the map, and then all pop-up windows will disappear. And then you can, again, you can click on any button and get more information. And I have provided code for you to do that. So let's just look into the code. on the map. Look, map, right? And table of content allows you to easily to go into your code. So in here, you can see that you could customize a message which you would like to be shown in pop-up window. So I have created a variable called message. Now, we talked about the importance of naming properly your variables. By looking at this name, I know it's a string, it's a character string. And later, if anywhere in the code I know that it is a string, and I don't need to convert it to anything else. So it's very important that when you have a variable which you use elsewhere in the code, you give it a good name. So this is a good software engineering practice. So in this case, I created a name, and it essentially pastes information for percentage of confirmed and confirmed total, by the way. So if you want to modify it, you can modify it. You can add more detail. In fact, we can add all other information there. Now, also, you can actually add a legend. And I have not done it yet, so let's do it. I will uncomment. A trick I showed you last time. When you want to comment something or uncomment, you highlight it and you press Ctrl-Shift-C. You see? And it's uncommented. So it's a very useful trick, because normally you don't want to run all your code at a time. You know, you would just like to run one code, and you may have to debug your code. You know, this code runs and this code doesn't run. So you would split it and you will comment out some portions. So I've added a legend. Let's see what this legend is doing. By the way, another thing which is important here is label, right? So I need to create a label. Now, and the label is assigned to a color. So color. And how do I define a color? Look, this is just my simple rule. I say if confirmed is less than mean, and this is, by the way, how I compute my mean. You know, I use a function called mean, and you already know this operator called pipeline operator. So I access data from confirmed column, and I find a mean, which is average, and then I just label yellow for my cities where it's less than mean, and red is when it's more than mean. Okay, so we can compile again. I click on neat. When I click on neat, by the way, it saves my file, so the color changes from red to black, and it shows you what it is doing here. So, and it will open the same page where you used to be, but now you see it shows you this in the left bottom corner. It shows you the annotation window. Yeah, so you can visualize on a map anything you want. So that's how simple it should be. And this table, again, now you saw it's only one line of code. And the same with the trends. We use ggplot to plot with facets, and we order it. And we talked about it last time, how you can order it. So I'm just going to my ggplot, see how convenient it is for me to click on a table of content and to get into my code. So I have reordered my cities by the number of confirmed cases. So, for example, one thing here which I have done is you can have different scales for each graph, or there are many other parameters. And if you are not sure what parameters you have there, you use help. And we talked about this in our first and second session. You have wonderful help window in here. You just paste your function here, and it shows you all options which you have for this function. So, for example, you can again, you could have different scales or similar scales, and it shows you examples here how to run it. So you just use examples in here. Like, for example, I use scales free, and we could just do it without scales free. So it will be the same scale, fixed scale for everyone, and we can do it like that. Look, so a very typical technique. I just commented out this portion, and I modified my code. You see, now I run it again. I run it again. Now, currently, I would have a scale fixed, the same scale for all my graphs. And you see what I'm doing. I'm just, I put a hashtag sign, DS sign, to remove the portion which I don't need at the moment. And this is what you see the results, right? So now it has exactly the same scale. So you see New York has the largest, and Nassau is the next, and Suffolk, and so on. So that's how you do it. So I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you would be able now to create your own little dashboard with your own data or with COVID data. And if you have questions, you just run help. It's like in here, there are many other parameters which you can use in Leaflet, and you can just paste it in here and you can find out what it is doing. So, and the same with the table, with interactive table. It's a powerful function where actually which allows you to filter the data. It's also very good. It allows you to filter the data, and you can add more filters there. Like, for example, show me the data only for New York City. So, and now, in fact, this would be your homework, very nice homework. Try to read help for this file, for this function, and just run it with different parameters. So with that, again, I thank you very much, everyone. I wish you health, be in good, again, mood, care for each other, please. These times are not easy for the country, and we're trying to help whatever way we can. So please ask any questions. I hope I will be able to upload my code. Now you have some errors there. I will follow up with you privately. Just error in line, let's say 31. In line 31, we'll need to go to the code into that maybe read file, because we need to make sure our read file is the up-to-date file, which I have there in GitHub. I have uploaded it last week. So we'll have to make sure we understand exactly which line is not running well.